Get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink, ho, let's get right. Getting paid, I'm getting paid. Roll one up, let's catch this flight. Pour another cup, ho, let's get right. Getting paid, I'm getting paid.
Hey, it's your boy Tight. But you're tuning in with Ray's podcast. Kick me, my boy Ray. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, we back at it again. It's Ray from Ray's podcast. You know I'm coming live from the 10th floor of the beautiful Hello Studios. So grateful and thankful to be alive today. Be in this lovely city I call Dallas, Texas, that I love with all my heart. Thank you for tuning in. Rock with me and watching me and listening to me one more time. I greatly appreciate you. I am nothing without you, and I greatly appreciate all of you. Man, we got a great episode planned out for you today. I got a couple of co-hosts in the building. If you've been watching the Crosstalk episodes, you don't see these couple of people, mingling with me on the Crosstalk. Who we got co-hosting with me today?
Got Jazz Monet with the BLS podcast.
The BLS podcast.
Yeah, and I'm Law Nation Sports with Law Nation Sports, by the way. So, hey. Let's get it.
With my people in the building. We got a special guest. I'm going to introduce them momentarily. But again, thank you so much for rocking and tuning in. Hey, make sure you subscribing, all right? If you ain't done it yet, you stop right now immediately. Hit like, subscribe, follow all that stuff. Follow me and also follow all my friends here on the show. Follow all the platforms that they're doing because they're doing a bunch of amazing work, all right?
Yeah.
Cool. Real quick, I got to shout out to all my people out there. Shout out my people at Lit Vacations, man. If you're looking to plan that next vacation, whether it's a destination wedding or a bachelor or bachelorette party, family reunion, corporate kickback with the homies, whatever it is you're trying to plan, international, domestic, hit up my guys at Lit Vacations. That's Litt Vacations. Ask for the guy named Austin. Tell him you know Ray from Ray's podcast, and he gonna help you all get everything situated with you. I mean, I'm talking about your excursions, your to and from, your transfer from the hotels and to the resorts and to the airport. They get you all taken care of with that, all right? So ask for my guy Austin, Lit Vacations. Let's do that, all right? Now, I took care of the financial part. I got that checked, all right?
Yeah.
Now, let's get that mental and that heart right, all right?
Yeah.
A lot of people be going through tough situations that we don't be knowing about, dealing with things. So I don't know if you've ever watched or listened to Ray's podcast before. It's your first time. I'm going to pour back into you, all right? So, just in case nobody told you today, I just want you to know that you're beautiful, you're loved, you're needed.
Exactly.
Say you're alive for a reason. Hey, you stronger than you think. Whatever it is you're going through, you're going to get through this, all right? Here on this show, we're all glad that you are alive and don't give up, all right? Most importantly, when tough situations come up, keep those positive words in your mind. Man, you may be trying to reach or achieve a goal, and you may seem so far off. Focus on that win and not the win, all right? Keep those words in your mind. Let's get it. Let's run it. Stand on business, as these kids be saying today, all right? Bet. All right, so let me tell you about today's guest. We got in the hot seat today. Man, this man, he's a media mogul. You know what I'm saying? He's got his own sports network. You can catch it on Spectrum on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Y'all, give a warm Ray's podcast welcome to my friend, Mr. Vernon Hadnot. How we doing today? We doing all right, Vernon?
We're doing well.
Hey. Thank you for taking. See, they love you. Yeah. Can't get enough of you, bro.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. From someone being in the media, I know what it's like. It's always ripping and running, especially when we're in the sports world. There's always something breaking, a contract, or somebody getting cut, traded. There's always something going on in the sports world. Somebody getting in trouble with the law. It's always something you got to cover, all right? Yeah. So thank you for taking time out your day to come rock with us, all right?
All right. Thank you for having me, man.
Man, so let's get right into it, all right? Let's dive in, all right? So who is Vernon, all right? Vernon, where are you from, and how did you get into this media world?
Okay. I was born in Hope, Arkansas. I was raised in Austin, Texas most of my life, and then I played football in high school, so I went to Laney College. For those who don't know, Ken Harvey, who played with the Washington Redskins back in the day, was my roommate in junior college.
Okay.
So I went to the University of the Pacific. I played football. I was a running back. I thought that I was going to make it in football. Well, things didn't pan out the way that I thought they would pan out. But I always had an interest in video production ever since I was a little kid. And at that time, when I was growing up, there was a child actor named Rodney Allen Ripley, and so Rodney was on the Jack in the Box commercials, and it would come on like in the mornings before I would go to school, and my dad would take me to school. Well, my dad had a roommate in college that played for the Kansas City Chiefs. And so he always had a hookup on us, getting to the Super Bowl or getting to any football game around the NFL. So I thought my dad had that same hookup as well. So I would ask my dad, I was like, hey, will you get me on TV? I want to be on TV. I want to do what Rodney Allen Ripley does. And so I must have said that all the way up until like I was the 4th or 5th grade. Well, that never panned out or whatnot. But moving forward, I majored in radio and television in college, and that's kind of how I got my start. Since I didn't make it in football, I always felt that I had something to fall back on, and that was in radio and television. And at one point, back in the mid-'90s, I had a show in Austin, Texas called After Dark. And at that time, it was a sports entertainment show, mainly geared mostly towards the entertainment side of it. And I got kind of my first break interviewing Tony Dorsett. Tony Dorsett was one of my favorite running backs when I was growing up. And so I was able to secure an interview with him, came to Dallas, did an interview, and then from there it kind of took off. I started gearing that show not so much as entertainment, but as for sports. Well, moving forward again, this was back in the late 90s. I was getting ready to move to Dallas. And so I was trying to find a spot for my show because at that time I was on Time Warner in the Austin area, and we would come on. It was a live show. We would come on at 12:30 midnight to 2 in the morning. So pretty much I had to kind of keep everybody entertained from the time that people were kind of leaving happy hour in the club. So it was pretty successful. It was a call-in show, and I'd have people call. I'd have different topics that I talk about, whether it was sports or entertainment, and they call in. Well, I was getting ready to move to Dallas, and I was like, man, how am I going to translate that? When I get to Dallas, because at that time they had kind of like flavor TV, but we weren't on that level.
Flavor TV,
because it was more or less, it was hip hop. But I knew that I still wanted to do, something that that I had put my heart into back when I was in Austin, and so I got a break probably back in 2009 when I first started doing D210, and at that time it was just web based. And so I knew a guy that worked at Time Warner at that time, and they were getting ready to come out with the Texas channel.
Right.
He asked, I know anybody that had any content? Did I have any content? And I was like, yeah, I got some content.
Right.
So I gave it to him. Within a week, we were on the Texas channel. And so from there, it was more entertainment and sports. Well, 3 years into it, Time Warner was getting ready to disband, and it was getting ready to be Spectrum Sports. And so as a courtesy, they said, hey, if you want to still keep your show, you're going to have to translate all that into sports. And at that time, we were covering the Mavericks. And I was maybe doing like a minute of Mavericks or whatever, because I was kind of gearing it towards the entertainment, because that's where a lot of my content was coming from.
Right.
And I didn't know, the as far as sports, how I should be, covering sports, until, years later. And so turned a 30-minute sports show was just all Mavericks. And then from that time on, I started reaching out to like FC Dallas was like the second team that we started covering, and then SMU. And then I'd been wanting to cover the Cowboys or whatever, because I figured, okay, the Cowboys are the biggest sports team, in the Metroplex and probably, all over.
In the world.
In the world. And so from there, whatever, it took some time to, to be credentialed with them, during the season. And so that kind of panned out, and we've been doing D210 probably for like 15 years now.
Man, that's amazing.
Hey,
So
congratulations.
I know I went
Man,
all over the world with it a little bit, but that, that's how I, got my start.
That's a full story.
Yeah, that's
a
amazing.
version people need to hear.
Well, thank you.
I got three
appreciate that.
things that I want to throw at you.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things are everyone have a reason, but results are what matter, and you deliver the results. And I want to say this to you. The two most important days of your life, the day you was born and the day you realize your purpose. And you're operating in your purpose. But I want to throw this last point from what all you said. Where did you come with D210? Where did that come from?
D210. I had an office at one of my jobs, and it was D210. And when I was a kid growing up, there was this show called Room 222.
Okay.
And so I was like, man, that's kind of like a cool name, And I'd always, maybe I can call it, something else, because at that time it was after dark, and at that time the internet was starting to get big. And
right.
So after dark started meaning other things.
Other things.
And so,
yeah.
So I wanted to be, on a positive vibe. So I translated after dark into D210. It was just my old room number. Where
Wow. So. Is that the first time anyone know of that or?
No, I get, what does that mean? Is that Deuteronomy? I was looking at I was looking in the Bible, and I said, you know what? I don't see 2:1 anywhere or whatever.
And then such a Texan response.
Yeah. And on media days, Rick Carlisle would ask me the same question every year.
Right.
This is San Antonio? No, Rick, you see me almost every day. And, at the games, no, we're not from San Antonio. We're from Dallas.
Right, right. Because D214 would be like, okay.
D214. And I never thought about it then, which, I should have called it D214, but that never resonated.
Correct.
And it never resonated that 210 is also the area code, San Antonio's area code.
Wow.
Are we doing questions now?
Yeah, that's what we asked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask a few questions? I don't know the format.
You just sitting there?
She's in the flow, Vern. Look at her.
I know.
She got the soft
I'm not even
voice,
supposed
too.
to be here.
I'm getting kind
soft
of nervous.
voice.
She's like, can I ask some questions?
No, usually when I have a question, I have follow-up. So, I don't want to just be like, yeah, let me just ask 5 questions. But anyway, so one of my favorite actors is named Daveed Diggs. He was in Hamilton. I don't know if you're familiar. Anyway, he did this interview where he said one of the best pieces of advice that he would give to anybody in the entertainment industry is to not trip over time. And so that's why I like your story, is because, a lot of people might look at you and see that you have, this sports station, which sounds like something that not a lot of people are able to do. And they might be like, oh, well, you have to have certain connections. And maybe you do. But it sounds like a lot of work and a lot of time went into you getting to where you're going. So my first question is, when it comes to the idea of not tripping over time, or like our friend Ray here said, focus on the win and not the win, is that a mindset that you went into this with, of just like, I'm just going to focus on the mission and not really worry about a timeline?
Pretty much so. I know in the beginning, just with the sports teams, it was challenging because no one knew who I was. And from what I was gathering, it was all about putting out your content and being, what's the word that I'm looking for? Not reliable, consistent, and then also being credible. And that was the thing. That was the challenging thing in the beginning, because we were doing entertainment, but we were doing sports. But I had people that were my reporters that didn't know a lot about sports, and so the thing would be I would take my iPad and then I would script it out, and then I would hold it up under the camera, so that way, because to me it's like, okay, you not only represent D210, but you also represent me, and then that also represents of the teams that that I would like for us to cover, to be in that loop and to be in that circle along with what I call the big guys, which are like the local affiliates. And so that, to me, that was the most challenging thing, and just trying to stay focused on that, to make sure that I dotted my I's and my T's, making sure that my reporters, with whatever it came out of their mouth, that it would sound like it was, credible.
Now, the media and the sports news cycle has changed a lot since that time. Do you still find that a focus on credibility gets you quality content? Because there are a lot of platforms that focus on clickbait and headlines at this point. Yeah.
Absolutely. To me, because I saw a reporter last night on Instagram that I had never seen before, and she has 120 something thousand followers.
I'm jealous.
Oh, wow.
And so I saw that she covered a lot of NFL stuff. And just the stuff that I was seeing, it was like, okay, being that I'm on TV, I wouldn't be able to do some of this stuff. So a lot of times, on my Instagram page, or not on my Instagram, on the D210 Sports Instagram page, or anything that is regarded to social media, I can't necessarily put that out because it's not allowed in the guidelines of being able to have that credential. So to me, I feel like I feel like I may not have we may not have as many viewers, or we may not have as many people that follow us, but whatever content that we do have, at least when you see it, that you know that it's credible, and you know that the reporters who are reporting are knowledgeable about what they cover.
Valid. I got one more question. I'm gonna pass it off. But in the story that you told, it sounded like there were a few places in the development of your career where a curveball got thrown at you. For example, ending up having to do sports in the first place. That was not something that you planned. So between the length of time and the things that changed as you went along, what was it in your mindset and in your personal philosophy that just kind of kept you going, that said, I'm going to stay on this path even though these things keep happening that are trying to change my trajectory? Like, what was it that motivated you to just keep going towards the goal that you were chasing?
I guess it has a little bit to do with I played sports ever since I was 7 years old up until I was 23 when I was in college. And a lot of the times what was taught to you as an athlete is that if you want something, you go out and you really work for it. And
Right.
That was kind of instilled with my father. He told me to always have a championship heart and to not, to never give up, because if you give up, then you're always gonna wonder, years down the road, what could have been. And so my mindset is that I don't want to know what could have been. I want to keep, trying to pursue or go after I guess that golden apple, just to, see if I can do it. And then if I can't do it, then I know that I would have given my all, but I'm not going to stop, because there's always, there's, as they say, it's always hope.
Facts, man.
Agreed.
I like that. I like that. And for those of you who don't know, we've had a couple D210 alumni on Ray Ray's podcast. Former alumni Carissa Valdez. Shout out Carissa.
What's up, Carissa?
Carissa.
People don't know.
Valdez.
She was actually going to be one of my original co-hosts, because my original format, when I was originally dreaming of doing a podcast many, many years ago, was going to be a sports-based podcast. And I had always saw her posting about sports and stuff. I was like, y'all got to get Carissa Valdez on there. She ended up coming on my show as its current format when it was just audio during pandemic. Everything was shut down, so she was on a few episodes. So shout out Carissa. Shout out to the homie Raya. Raya done been in
Raya.
Raya done been on a show.
Raya.
Yeah.
She done been in a few episodes. One very controversial episode. Right. Infamous episode that a lot of people may know us from now. It is what it is. We do what we do. We keep it moving. But I said all that to answer this question. A lot of your reporters and analysts, they're females. All right. Unfortunately, we still have people out there, and I have some friends that think this way. They feel like they don't want to hear sports from women for some reason. What made you decide, okay, I want to have these women as my anchors and reporters, and what are some challenges and hurdles dealing with that?
Oh, my God, it's a lot of...
Ooh, slam dunk time.
My whole thought process behind having all females, it didn't start out that way. I did have some males, and every now and then I will have some males that inquire about reporting. But my thing was, and this is how I was thinking at the time, is that if I have female reporters, maybe it might be a little bit easier to get those interviews with some of those players. But there's kind of a drawback to that too, because how can I say this politically correct? When you have an attractive female
Right.
in a locker room with a lot of males, sometimes it works against you, and especially if they don't know anything about sports.
Yeah.
So my rule is with the reporters, if it has nothing to do with football, do not hang out at their locker.
Right.
Do not have side conversations with these guys, because some of the guys are going to try to approach you in a way as if you were in a club or something, and that you don't want. And the other thing, dress appropriately in the locker room where you're not drawing attention to yourself. So that's been some challenges with some of the reporters in when I first started off. I had some reporters would come with like crop tops walking in the locker room, and I get the PR people's like, Vernon, You're a reporter. They had on a crop top, and that's not allowed. And I was like, I already know. I already talked to them about that, but we're here right now, and I kind of want to get that interview because we need that content. But I'll make sure that doesn't happen. But that's like my golden rule is like, be a professional about it because that's going to help you down the line when you're trying to go to a network or try to go on to somewhere else or work for another sports organization. It's all about how you carry yourself as a reporter. And if you carry yourself trashy, that works against you because I'm not going to be able to utilize your talents or whatever, because that's what we want to get the talent, and not not so much as the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
I know you said you were trying to be politically correct, but like everyone that I've spoken to about this industry has the same advice. And I think at some point you get to a point where it's less about being politically correct and more about being honest with the person that you're trying to help. I had a similar conversation with someone recently, and I was just like, is there like a dress code for locker rooms? And they were like, well, no, but you have to think about the fact that you're essentially auditioning for your next job.
Facts.
So wherever you think about working, watch those programs and how do they dress? Don't wear anything that you don't think they would wear. And, even on ESPN, you can see them getting a little bit more edgy. Like, I see, like, Molly Karam wearing a mesh top or, like, the off-the-shoulder thing. And I'm like, okay, but that's as far as it goes. You don't see crop tops. You don't see butt cheeks. So I'm just like, while I'm a proponent of those things, absolutely, there's a time and place.
No,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't dress like you're going to a Sexy Red concert. Dress like you're going to go meet the president.
Absolutely. Well, that's one of the drawbacks. Excuse me, with some of the reporters or some reporters, especially female reporters, is that when they see someone that's well known on ESPN or Fox or NBC, they feel that they can dress that way.
As well.
And I'm like, no, you can't, because you're not established to be able to do that right now.
And it doesn't always come off the same way.
And it doesn't. Like during the NBA Finals, some of the reporters, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she wore that. I mean, you could like nearly see through, this.
Yeah, and some things just look
outfit,
differently in camera than they do in person. Like I saw Molly Karam, the mesh top that I'm talking about. It was so cute, and so it's like it was probably cut about here, mesh went up to here, and I'm like, okay, she can wear that on first take, but if you wear that in person, you'd be able to see her cleavage. So it's very different.
And the thing is that especially like before the games and after the games, everybody's eyes are on you. I mean, especially if you're a female, they're like, okay, and then when they see what you have on, then their eyes don't come off of you. And to me, it's like, no, that's not what we're trying to do. What I'm trying to do is trying to help you get to the next level.
Correct.
So
have you found a good approach for overcoming that? Just piggybacking off of his question, like in terms of like if you've had someone who you've had to talk to multiple times, for example.
Oh yeah.
Have you found something that's like, okay, this is a surefire thing that's gonna work?
Yeah, my thing is like if you come to the game and you're not dressed appropriately, then I'm gonna ask you to go home. Oh. And you not only wasted your time, but you wasted our time too, the crew's time. With what you have on, because the procedure and the rules, so you should know. If you're, this is not the time to make a statement with your outfit. If you want to do that, then you can do that when you're on your own personal time. Mm. But we're all there to get something done. So, and it's a team thing. So if you don't come dressed appropriately, then you heard everything else that we're trying to do for that specific night.
Mm. Quick question for you, man.
Yes, sir.
From someone kind of in the industry. What's your turnaround speed like from, interviewing someone to having it edited to out being broadcast? What's that turnaround speed look like for you?
Usually, say if we're covering a Maverick game, or it's a little bit different. Okay. Because I can't necessarily show those interviews on social media because under the rules for having a credential and being on TV. But in the past, when I didn't know that rule, my turnaround would be as soon as I leave the venue, or I would do it at the venue and get it up and running. I know, like with media day for basketball, it's a little bit different. I can use those interviews because it's pretty much
open.
It's pretty much open. But anything like with the NFL or like training camp, I got a set time of getting it on for like 24 hours. And to me, that's just a waste of time, because say if I get like a whole bunch of views and then all of a sudden those views take off because I've cut that interview or I've had to go and re-edit that. It just, to me, that's just a waste of time. Although it would be good, for the brand, it's not good. That it's just, to me, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Is there a scrubbing process where if someone listen in and say, okay, you can't say this or you can say this? Is there a process with that with the media?
No, not really.
Okay.
Pretty much, I know when Brianna was with me, she was one of my reporters. Knicks, yes.
Yeah. I had her on my show before.
Yeah, Brianna was
nice
my
girl.
reporter, and we did a lot of interviews with the Cowboys. There was one instance where we did something with Joe Looney. It was like a trivia to Remember the Titans, because that was one of his favorite movies. Mm-hmm. They allowed us to be able to use that for that time, for a long stretch of time. But like locker room interviews and stuff like that, that's mainly just for, we use that for TV purposes.
Mm-hmm. That's good information right there.
So
If you ever have an emergency, you need someone to fill in, put the back signal in the sky, and I'll get there for you.
Man, I got you. You in law, man. I got, and you too. I got you guys.
I don't require a bat signal. I'm much simpler. Just DM me.
Just DM me.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, I'll be.
Yeah. That's a good info right there.
What would you say has been your biggest challenge since being in the media?
The biggest challenge is finding people that want to work and not want to be in that atmosphere just to not do anything.
Yeah.
I found that I've had people who've wanted to be, whether it was a reporter or a camera person or to take pictures. A lot of times what'll happen is, okay, they want to do it for like maybe a couple of weeks because they want to build up their portfolio.
Right.
But they don't actually do the work. They want to be there so that way they can put it on Instagram or they can put it, on X or social or YouTube or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's for clout.
Yeah.
They don't want to put in the time to be able to, really, expand, their talents. Because everyone who I've had a chance to work with is talented in their own way. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's like, man, nah, you can't do that. I had one guy, and he's really, really good. And I'm not going to say his name. Right. You might know who he is. He started working with us, and he's like, oh, I know so and so in this basketball team, and I did this, and can I use this class? Like, man, I would love to, but we just can't use it or whatever. Well, turns out that he's starting to work with a lot of the NBA players or whatever. Mm-hmm. And his stuff is like going viral. He's got millions and millions of views and he's doing really well. But, I knew that he was dedicated into what he was doing. Opposed to some of these other people, they're not dedicated. They just, like you said, they just want the clout to be able to show, hey, I was at a Maverick game. And another challenge is, even with reporters,
right.
It's like, oh, I can do it. And, we all, audition, do a little audition or whatever. And then it gets to the games and then, they don't want to do the work. They don't bring a laptop, to put in the information, to help with their recaps following the game. So that way when they're doing their report on camera, we're not there for an hour,
It's a labor of love.
It's a labor of love. So it's the challenge is, putting in the work. And then to me, it's also, filling them out. Because I always feel that, hey, I'm going to give you a chance and I'm going to throw you to the wolves. Because, I've seen, what you've done in the past and I know that you can do it. But you got to put in the work. If you're a lazy reporter and you just want to be there, then it's not going to work out for you. Right. And it's definitely not going to work out for me.
Outside of just the amount of work involved, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have when they decide to start working with you and entering this world of sports reporting?
That it's going to be easy. And then they don't realize that when they're in these venues or they're at a practice facility that they have also an opportunity to be able to network with other people too that are in the business that also could help them become their mentors or help them, help them elevate, their careers.
Now, do you think that's connected to the evolution of social media? And here's why I ask you this. Obviously, the trajectory of your career started before I would say, because you said things started taking off around 2005, 2009, right?
Right.
So that was right when Facebook was starting to go
Yeah.
from being for private universities to going public, right? So that was the beginning of the social media wave. And now I feel like there are so many people who are discovered because they went viral, or at least that's what people think. Let's be real. A lot of these people have been working at their craft for years,
Yes.
before they go viral. I met a side story. I met a guy who has started doing like commercials and producing apparel for various companies, but he was homeless in LA for like 5 years before he got his first big gig. And he was a producer on Bad Boys 4 recently, right? But nobody sees that other part, right? And so I think sometimes people see, oh, this person went viral and they made it, and they think they can do it too. Do you find that that's like a consistent misconception, that people think if I get enough views, if I get enough followers, it'll happen, and that's just not the case in the sports industry right now? Or is it something else that's kind of holding back the people who don't make it?
I just think, excuse me, I just think it's, you just putting in the work, whether, someone is an overnight success, they've already put in the work to be able to get to that, to get to that point. So it's going to take work regardless of, if you go viral or if you don't. And even the people that don't go viral, they're still putting in their work to try to be able to get to that, to get to that level. And, with the internet and with how social media is taking off, everybody wants to go viral.
Yeah.
But there are, some people, they get that break and they just, it just takes off, and they just have, their brand is connected to something else that helps them, get to that level. So I guess it is a challenge.
Yeah.
Because I feel that with D210, I don't feel that we're there. As far as social media, I just think, just because of the credibility and the content that we put out, that, we'll go over there and let's see what they did. Oh, okay, that was okay. But with others, they've taken off because they're able to do a little bit more than what we can do right now.
Yeah.
And it is a challenge because I know with the different sports organizations and just with the leagues, that some of the things that they've seen other influencers do, they're starting to do it as well.
Correct.
Yes.
But that also impacts the ones that want to be able to do that too as well, who are credentialed, who can't do that. So it is a challenge.
Correct. So it's a new wave of I call it the new media. Whereas, how you have a threshold where you can't post some things, right? But somebody like me with a camera, it's the wild, wild west for us. But there's also this that I have in the bag that I tell everyone, because just because you get to 100,000 subscribers and you're getting 3 to 4 million views a month, you still have to have that determination.
Yeah.
You got to have that drive and that will. And I always try to put that out there, on these aspects of it, that a person with determination can dig a ditch faster with a spoon than a lazy man can with a shovel or a crane. So I always bring that to the table, because what people see me do, they think it's easy. They think that, Law's just taking this and doing that. No, it's a grind to sun up to sun down, and you got to be consistent with it.
Yeah, you definitely have to be consistent with it. It's a definite grind. Mm-hmm. I can remember times where we've gotten a lot of views, and it's like, oh man, okay, yeah. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna put out a video for a couple. And then And it's like, oh, I only have 2 views. I was like, damn, and I really put a lot of work into that, but I wasn't consistent with it. I should have put out another video right after I put out that one, and then another one. But I waited. I wait. So
And you know what it is? The sports niche is this. It don't have a long shelf life.
No,
it lasts. It's like aged like bananas on top of the banana.
Cycle
Yeah. It's a quick age, and it dies real quickly.
So if it's not out, like right then and there, then it's useless basically.
Not only that, but I think there are a lot of terms that get conflated. Now it's like having a lot of views is not the same thing as having a large audience, but people think it is. Mm-hmm. Having a lot of subscribers is not the same thing as having a good reputation, but a lot of people think it is. Having your channel for a long time is not the same thing as establishing a career, but a lot of people think it is. And so there are a lot of people who will go after, let me get that channel, let me get the views, let me get the subscribers. And then they're wondering, why do these sports organizations not respect me? Why does this reporter not know who I am? And it's like, because you've been chasing numbers and you've gotten those, congratulations. Right. But you don't have, like you said, credibility. You don't have that yet,
and
you
the
know?
Respect, and the respect.
It's like numbers come from the algorithm, but your reputation comes from what are you saying, credibility, respect, things that only people can give you, not bots.
Absolutely. The funny story is like when I first started doing this and I start going into the locker rooms or I was at the games, I get, the locals, they would look at me like, what's he doing here? What's he doing? And at that time, that's when the internet was taking off. Yeah. And then as over time, it's like, okay, we see that he's like one of us. He's working just as hard as we are. And so, to me, it's all about, relationships and it's all about credibility. It's about credibility. If you got the credibility, you got the relationships and people know that you're dependable and people know that you're hardworking, then they're always going to want to work with you regardless if you have, one follower or you have thousands of followers.
Yeah. But you said something that always sticks out to me. And if you listen or watch the show all the time, it's about consistency. I have a saying, if you're consistent, you'll get it. If you're persistent, you'll get it. If you're consistent, you'll keep it. So that's something.
Absolutely.
So that's something I always apply that to almost all areas of life. Persistent with something, you're gonna get it.
Can I tell you a short story related to that saying?
What's that?
First podcast studio that I worked with, they were looking for people to like go to this event and give testimonials because it was a nonprofit organization. So they asked me and my co-host, I had a co-host at the time, and he introduces me to this guy who's over the nonprofit, and he's like, yes, these are my two most consistent podcasters. And I kind of laughed, and he was like, why are you laughing? I was like, we are not consistent at all, because she and I both had full-time jobs. We were also coaching a roller derby team. Our schedule was constantly changing. And I was like, we're persistent and tenacious. I was like, we've had breaks. We've changed our schedule 50,000 times, but we never quit. That's why we're still here. Yeah. And that's why I'm still here. So you're absolutely right. Consistency, I do think, does help, but that persistence, that's what'll really do it.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Yeah. All right, cool. We got into the meat of it. All right, let's have some fun with it. All right.
Okay.
We gonna have some fun and we gonna wrap this thing on up. All right. So if it's your first time listener, or you listened before, you know what's coming. It's called. Well.
Slow down. I just wanna get to know you.
Yeah.
Slow down. We just want to get to know you. So we kind of ask you some random questions off the rip. Okay. We don't know where we're gonna go. All right. We gonna get somewhere, Vernon, but we don't know where we're gonna get. But we gonna get there, okay?
I'm ready for whatever you
okay.
got, whatever you ask.
Before we move forward, what I want you to do is shout out all your social medias where you want people to find you and look you up at.
Okay, you can find us at D210.tv on the web, on X at D210S, on Instagram at D210 Sports, and on Facebook at D210 Sports.
Okay.
Oh, and be sure to check us out on Wednesday and Thursday nights on Spectrum Cable Channel 15 at 11 p.m.
There we go. All right. What makes you feel like your best self?
When I'm helping people.
Okay.
That makes me feel good, especially these last few years with a lot of the reporters moving from their hometowns and coming here and wanting to learn and wanting to become a reporter. It always makes me feel good to be able to help them further their careers, especially when they move on. Like Brianna, she went on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Correct.
Whitley went to ESPN. I had Kristen, who worked with me years ago. She worked as a Fox reporter in Detroit and covered the Detroit Lions. Paloma is now in Las Vegas, and she covers the Raiders and all their sports teams in Vegas.
That's amazing.
That makes me feel good when I know that I was able to help them.
Yeah.
Because I wish I would have had that, when I was coming up, someone to help me. And although God has helped me, but someone that's on earth that can kind of show me, the ins and out, of the business. So that's what makes me feel good.
Man, I love that. So everyone knows this is my favorite question to ask. I love asking this question. All right. If I'm Ray and I'm the movie director, and I want to make the Vernon Hadnot story, what actor do you want to portray you in a movie?
Ooh.
Can't pick Denzel Washington now. Come on.
It's got to be a light skin, bro.
He got to be like, not Sinbad as well.
No, not right now.
Not right now.
I'm not even gonna go there. I would say Isaiah Washington.
Isaiah Washington.
Back from Love Jones and stuff like that.
No, Isaiah Washington is Denzel Washington's son.
Okay.
He was
David?
He was featured on both.
John David Washington.
John David.
Okay.
John David
Okay,
Washington.
I'm thinking,
Okay.
I don't know where I got it. I thought it was. I was like, what?
Because I think Isaiah Washington is the guy from like back in the day. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was on the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He got blacklisted. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Well, yeah, he got blacklisted. He did something, and they pretty much canceled him off of the show. I can't remember exactly what he did, but yeah.
My mind is running on who should play you, but
Go ahead.
it's running though. I'm trying to get a name though, but I can't.
I want
You know
Ray
what I
to play.
think?
I want Ray to
Who
play
you
me.
think? Who you think?
I want Ray to play me.
Because I just left LA. And people ran up to me and they thought I was John David.
Did they really?
They did.
You know,
I was about to say, I'm not sure if he's
Yeah.
light enough.
Yeah, well, you know, camera
That don't
angles
matter.
these days.
You had old boy Flex playing Michael Jackson. So I mean,
I'm trying to think. It's at the tip of my tongue, but who? Dre, who you got for him though? It's close.
Arsenio Hall.
No, it got to be
No.
somebody younger though. The young,
What's
up and coming.
What's the guy who played Superfly? That's who.
That kid. Yeah.
I would want him
That's
to-
my guy. I love his music. Trevor Jackson.
Trevor
Trevor
Jackson.
Jackson.
Because Trevor played
like
in the
him.
yeah.
His music is amazing.
Yeah.
I think he'll fit your role.
His music isn't.
Very good. Very good. Very
Yeah,
good.
Trevor.
Yeah.
Trevor.
You know, you kind of look like the Paul Pierce.
To a degree.
You kinda like Paul Pierce.
I wish I had Paul Pierce's bank account right now.
Yeah. Paul, you hear this, don't you?
Paul,
You? Uh-huh.
I'm gonna need you to do a direct deposit in my account, bro.
Yeah. Come on, Paul.
All right. If you were the ruler of your own country, what would be the first law you would implement?
You know what? I don't think I would want to be a ruler of my own country. man.
Okay.
I don't think I would want that. Just with how politics are going right now, and you kind of see where it's going, I wouldn't want that.
So the
you
first
know?
law he'd implement would be somebody else got to run this.
Somebody else got. I'm gonna let law run my law.
I'm gonna let it run.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would want that type of
Pressure and all
pressure
that.
and all that. Yeah, that'd be a little bit too much. Because I think we all should just be able to put our differences aside. We agree to disagree, but we all should come together. And just,
Facts.
Maybe
Facts.
that's the first law.
That's
you
the first law.
that'd
Yeah.
be
The
the
first law is
law.
like when you disagree, you got to agree
Yeah.
to disagree.
No long-term media turnaround. That type of stuff.
Absolutely.
And also, too, I'm thinking about that, too. We're about to be in a time in this country where we have another election, all right? Just because you don't agree with someone and their beliefs, you can still love that person, all
Absolutely.
right?
Correct.
Let's just, let's keep that love out there. Let's keep it positive. The world
Absolutely.
needs more of that, all right? All right, so you cover sports in the Dallas area. I need you to rank the Dallas teams in your eye. Where do they rank?
Meaning,
In
Like,
their
okay,
eyes.
what do you like first?
You
Are
can
you
rank them on.
like who's your for all the teams in Dallas? What comes first? Are you Mavericks, Cowboys, Rangers, Stars? How do you Wings?
I'm not really a fan. I have to be biased on that because I can't be a fan. I mean, I root for certain guys to do well. But as far as organizations go, the Cowboys would more than likely be one. The Mavericks would be two. The Rangers would be three. FC Dallas would be four.
FC.
Well, I'll take that back. The Stars would be four. FC
Yeah.
Dallas would be five. The Wings would probably be six. And the Renegades would be seven.
Wow.
And that's just because the establishment and what they've done over a period of time in their body of work.
Yeah.
So that's why I would rank them that way. Doesn't necessarily mean that they are in that order with anybody else, but
Gotcha.
just because of the body of work that they've done and the notoriety and the attention that they've gotten over the years.
Got you. What were your thoughts on the Mavericks off season so far?
I think they're doing I think they're doing a good job. I would like to see them to get some younger guys in there, but I think for what happened to them in
Boston.
Yeah.
that they're moving and they're taking the right steps to be able to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And to get back to the championship.
Is
Although it's going to
Klay
be
Thompson, is he that guy that can be the difference maker? He's another scorer out in the perimeter.
He's kind of like he would be like a Jason Terry to win the Mavs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Mavs were in that when they had that
Championship run.
run.
What happened last? What happened last playoff game? Was the defense? What's going on? We didn't have another scorer. I know I'm throwing a curveball in this.
I just think Boston was a little bit more physical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And in the NBA, you got to be physical.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get rebounds. You got to be able to box out. And they just weren't able to do that this year. And hopefully with some of the guys that they've acquired, they'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
This coming season.
So just don't put it on, because I looked at it. It was just like a two on five. Kyrie, he was able to distribute, and then Luka, he's the legend there, but it was just two boys.
Yeah, and when one is not playing well, and the other one has to do all the
heavy lifting and all
heavy
of that.
lifting, then you're gonna have issues. You're not gonna you got to have the whole team has to be able to
I felt like that was the bigger issue. A lot of people kind of got on Kyrie saying that like, oh, he fell short at the end. But I'm like, you can only ask these guys to show up at 110% so many nights in a row. And for me, that's why I'm glad that they got Klay, because now you have a little room for if something is going on, the chances that all three of them are going to have an off night are a lot slimmer.
Yeah.
And they needed that consistent shooter. Like Klay is more used to being a shooter than anybody on the team right now.
See, I think they're thinking that Tim Hardaway was going to be that one to be able to do that.
God, yeah.
And things just happen. Sometimes you just get in a slump, and then if you're going to sit me on the bench,
he was dry
for a series, and then all of a sudden you're going to ask me to do something that I know that I can do, but right now I'm just not in the flow of doing it because I just don't, I don't have the touch or whatever. It's kind of hard and it's kind of challenging.
It goes back to the word we said earlier, consistency.
Consistency.
Everyone around Luka and Kyrie weren't consistent jump shooters. I like PJ Washington, but he's not consistent with his shot.
Mm-hmm.
And Lively was just trying to.
Lively, no, Lively.
He's on his way. He's on his come
way.
up. Yeah.
Who else do we have that shoots? A lot of people weren't consistent with their shot.
Right.
Now you're gonna have two ball dominant guards, and Luka and Kyrie is gonna find you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All Klay Thompson's got to do is just sit there, just wait for his shot.
Yeah, and you don't have to
wait. Just sit there and wait. His body's not gonna be worn down, trying to move and get open all the time. They gonna find you.
Yeah.
You up and they gonna find you.
You're not gonna have to depend on those two to be, the leading scorer of each game for you to win.
Yep. Then it's gonna open up PJ Washington more too.
Yeah.
And if he gets his shot better too, like who are you gonna stop?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's only so many people you can stop in one time. You can only double team one person. Who are you gonna double team? And I think year 2 of Lively, like no one thought we were gonna get that from Lively year 1.
And
that dude played like a vet.
Yeah, he did.
He stood tall at home games. Road games, Lively wasn't Lively.
But I think that's just being a rookie too, and being in a different environment. And you're not at home, so you don't have that home crowd to get you kind of charged up a little bit. But I think with experience that he'll be able to take what he learned from the previous season to the next season of being more successful on the road.
Let me ask you this though, and I know this is segment processing, but I just want to throw this in at you one time. I just gotta throw this in with Kyrie. Were you team Kyrie before Kyrie? Because Kyrie literally turned it around here in Dallas. As far as the perception from the outside looking in. My bad. I'm hijacking Ray Ray's podcast.
It's all right.
Look at him. Ray looking at it like, nah, we done turned this into sports, but I got to throw this in. What is your thought processes on Kyrie, my guy?
I thought by them adding Kyrie that it helped Luka out. And it's kind of helped Luka with his game just a little bit. And I think as they continue to work together that they'll be able to be more efficient in making plays and not having to necessarily say who's going to take that last shot, because now they have Klay. Klay can take the last shot now.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily need to be on those two. So I thought he was good. I thought it was good for them to bring him in, although he is an older player.
Yeah.
And so I think with next season, they're going to have to manage his minutes, so that way when it's time to make a playoff run, that he's going to be 100%.
No doubt.
All right.
All right. I'm sorry, Ray.
No, you good.
Sports, man. You know, I have to put it in there. Pause if
I'm gonna
necessary.
ask you this.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
I'm gonna ask you this question,
All right.
and I'm afraid Log about to take over after I ask this question.
Okay.
Did the Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs?
Yeah, they'll make the playoffs. They'll
That's
make
an
the
easy
playoffs.
question.
That's an easy
Yes.
question. They'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a very easy one because you know what? Hey, call me crazy, call me super glue, stuck on stupid, but I got the Cowboys going 13-4.
Really, I had the same prediction
See
too.
me and Vernon. See.
I just think
See?
people.
Great minds.
I think everyone right now is still sour over the last.
Yeah.
3 or 4
Debacle.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they haven't been able to get over the hump. But I mean, everybody's good in the NFL. Whether you're 1 in 16 or 13 and 4, everybody's
Right.
good.
Yeah.
And then on any given Sunday, you can get beat. And then it's all about matchups too. It depends on who you match up with. And with certain teams, Dallas just does not match up well against them. Maybe that'll get fixed, this year if they have to play those same teams again to make their playoff run. But yeah, I have them at 13-4. Actually, maybe even 14-3. It just depends.
Wow.
It just
you very optimistic.
it just depends
I love
if they
that.
can get
Yeah.
CD in.
It's
before.
hard not to be excited after seeing the way our defense performed this past
Yeah,
weekend.
I think if they can fix those holes in the defense, because defense wins championships.
Exactly.
And they want to blame the quarterback, and it's not the quarterback. Defense wins games.
Yeah.
And
Here's the craziest thing though. Aaron I'm about to say Aaron Rodgers. Shoot. Roger Staubach had the doomsday, right?
Yeah.
And you remember that doomsday defense was crazy good, right?
Right.
And he won 2 Super Bowls. My guy Troy Aikman had the 90s defense, and they was correct me if I'm wrong, they were ranked number 2, number 3, or sometimes number 1 in the 90s.
Right.
We haven't had that here.
No.
It's been a thought that we had that, but we couldn't stop the run.
Yeah.
In any of those postseason games that we played.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is like in the middle where, if you can't stop the run, you don't.
Yeah.
They haven't had a line. They thought, I guess, Van Der Esch was going to work out, but then he got hurt.
Come on,
And so,
yeah.
and then you had Sean Lee before Van Der Esch, and then,
Yeah.
he stayed hurt a lot. So if you can find that guy this year that can plug up that hole and plug up that middle, then I think you're going to be very successful. And to me, in my mind, it's like, why don't you put that, you drafted Micah there, so why don't you put him back in the middle?
Ooh, that's a 2-hour conversation now, bro.
Because because
Open up Pandora's box over here.
because you have DeMarcus Lawrence on one side, and
Yeah.
then you got rid of you had Armstrong, and Armstrong was having a good year.
And
last
Fowler,
year.
too,
and
to a
Fowler
degree.
and Fowler
Yeah.
too. So maybe they will do that this year, but if they can plug up that middle, then I think they'll be very successful.
Well, you and I was out there at Oxnard for the first 2 weeks, or for the first week,
Yes.
exactly. And Parsons is not germane to just one side now. He's Mike. He's on the side. He's on the edge. He's everywhere. So,
yeah, and that'll
chess
and
pieces.
that'll be good for them because the
Correct.
defense won't be able to key on that
Yeah.
particular area that he's
Yeah.
going to be coming from. So yeah, I think they'll have a successful year. Although the media is like, oh, they're
Yeah.
going to suck, but I think they're going to do very, very well.
You hear that, y'all?
I agree.
You agree?
Yes,
Okay.
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
What's your
See,
what's your
right? See, I'm trying to hold. I'm trying to hold back because this don't supposed to be a podcast
like a
with
pit-
sports. So
Ray's
I'm
like a
gonna
pit
go all
bull
the way
over
in.
there. Ray's like
Yeah.
a pit bull. You got the
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
All right.
Not over no cornbread, Ray. Come on, Ray. Yeah. So we're
Shut
gonna
up, Ray.
Who's your favorite sportscaster of all time?
It's Law.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go.
Besides Law, my favorite sportscaster was probably.
Why the fuck you lying?
Oh, come on, man.
Always lying.
You gonna do this to me, Ray?
Oh my God.
Law, you are my favorite
Stop.
sportscaster.
There we go.
Lying.
Shout out Law Nation Sports.
Yeah.
My favorite it would probably be Herb. I'm sorry. Well, golly. See, my age is kicking in now.
Howard Cosell.
Oh no,
No, I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
You said
what was his name? He used to come on CBS. He had the part. The Herb Cross. What is it? Oh my God, I can't think.
Let me see. I can help you out. Hold on with you.
It's been so many years, but when I was growing up, he was an African American.
Brian Gumble. Okay.
No, not Brian.
Boy,
Gumble.
you don't get on out here with that.
It's not Brian Gumble.
Yeah.
Herb Cross. Is it Herb Cross? Herb Cross?
Famous sports. Famous. I'm gonna put famous black sports podcasters. You know.
Not
That's
podcasters, sportcasters.
That's a shame.
Sportscasters,
That's a
yeah.
shame. I can't think of his name right now. But his last name is Cross.
Irv Cross?
Irv Cross. That's
Yeah.
it. I don't know why I kept saying Herb, but it's Irv Cross.
Irv Cross,
Yeah,
all
Irv Cross. Yeah.
Look,
So
this
if you
is
get a-
this is what pull up on the top 10s list. They got Michael Irvin, Pam Oliver. Pam was before her time when she first started, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was ahead of
Definitely.
her time.
Yeah. Stuart Scott.
Yep, that's
Yep.
my guy.
Yep, Stewart. Yeah.
Booyah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they for some strange reason they have Stephen A. Smith up here.
He gets no acknowledgement on my platform.
Stephen A. did a lot for black people in sports journalism. Just he's
he turned
definitely
the corner. Then
Wow.
He's definitely bought into the what's trending, what's hot.
Yeah.
Let me give y'all this entirety of this list. This is good because this is like homework. Shaq O'Neal,
Shaquille O'Neal.
Sage Steele,
Okay, I like her.
Greg Gumbel, L.Z. Granderson, Shannon Sharp, Cheryl Miller.
Shout out Cheryl. I like
Yeah,
Cheryl.
I like Michael Strahan.
I don't know if I feel like Shannon Sharp deserves to be on this list. I guess
Skip,
it depends.
He's not really-
Skip. Hey, skip. Come on, skip.
He's not really a sport.
I think had he not played sports, he wouldn't get so much credibility as a sports journalist / sportscaster. Because really, at this point, he's a popular media personality who occasionally commentates on sports topics. But like, I don't necessarily consider him an expert. I think he brings more to the table in terms of entertainment than in terms of analysis or reporting, honestly. And I mean, props to him. Like, he's building an empire, getting his money, doing his thing. Like, by all means, like, do your thing. But, like, let's acknowledge what that thing is, right?
And I feel like every time he sees Cat Williams, he say, "Thank you, sir." Every time he sees that gentleman, like, "Thank you, Cat."
Yeah.
Cat, thank you.
And they have on this list Kenny Smith, Robin Roberts. I like her.
I like Robin Roberts.
Old school O.J. Simpson. May he rest in peace. James Brown.
James Brown.
He
Oh,
really
that-
good.
Yes. He was on Fox and went to CBS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
do they have Jane Kennedy on there? Cause
Jane Kennedy. Yeah, that's next name on the list.
Okay.
Jane Kennedy, Dave Sims.
What about
Art
the guy
Russ,
from Fox?
Jack Robinson.
What's the guy named for Fox that does Fox? He's the lead host.
Kurt Menefee.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like him. Yeah. And that's
What was the
about
guy
it.
that used to be on ESPN with Boomer?
Boomer Esiason.
Yeah.
That's
No,
that's James
not
Brown.
Boomer. No, not Boomer. Sorry.
Tom Jackson.
Yeah.
Tom,
Tom
They
Jackson.
don't have Tom Jackson on this list.
What about
that's crazy.
the guy when
Berman. I think it's been Berman.
Chris Berman.
Chris
yeah,
Berman.
yeah. No one circles the wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
There
Yeah.
was a reporter
Yeah.
on CNN when CNN used to do when CNN used to broadcast sports on their network. What is his name? African American gentleman. Oh, I can't remember. I cannot remember his name.
Is it? They have Magic Johnson, of course. Deuces
Magic.
Rogers. Deuces Rogers. That's about it, man. It's on this top 20s list. They don't have whoever you trying to mention.
What
there.
is his name? I cannot remember his name.
Sherman Maxwell, Art Russ Jr., Mark Jackson. I forgot about him.
What was the other black guy that passed away from ESPN?
Who was that?
Oh, yeah.
Stan. Was it Stan something? What's my guy's name? I can't think of it.
But I always like Stuart. Stuart Scott got to be the creme de la creme.
That was heartbreaking when I saw him.
Yeah, we met Stewart when the Heat and the Oklahoma City Thunder played in the championship. And then prior to that, actually we met him at
When
the
he lost to
All-Star
the
game.
Heat?
Yeah. Actually, we met him prior to that. We met him at the All-Star game the year that they went did the Heat in Oklahoma City, and he was a real cool guy. I tried to get him to do a plug. He's like, "Oh no, I'm on ESPN."
No, he didn't want to mess with that bag.
I was like, "You can't say D210." No, man, I can't say that or whatever. I was like, "Okay." I was like, "It's cool," but he was a really, really nice guy. He took time, out, to talk to us, and it wasn't like, okay, I'm here and you're there or whatever.
Wow. I heard that he had that humble spirit, and he put a lot of guys on.
Yeah, he had a very humble spirit.
All right, cool. We kind of dove off on a different
sports, because he mentioned sports, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I wired him up. I tuned him up. It's like the Jack in the Box. You got to turn it. Them popped out. All right. Yeah. So, first off, again, I want to say thank you for taking so much of your time to come out and rock with us. But before I close each interview, I like to always ask 2 questions. The first being, if you could give any advice, no matter the subject matter, what would it be? And secondly, what do you want people to take away from the interview you did today?
I guess it's what we talked about in the beginning: persistent and being consistent. Those are the 2 keys right there, along with wherever you go, is being professional. Now, I might ruffle little feathers up when I say this. It's just like with how they dress before a game. Athletes before a game. When I was coming up, guys would always wear suits or whatever. Right. And to me, it's like, okay, I'm wearing a suit. I'm getting ready to go. It's about business or whatever. So I feel that, you wear a suit, you're in that business frame of mind, or people will take you more seriously, and opposed to, you wearing some jeans and some Jordans, and having your hat tilted to the side or whatever. My thing is just being professional. Mm-hmm. That's the key, because when you're professional, people will take you seriously, and you will definitely get the respect that that you should get by doing that.
Yeah.
Facts. And what do you want them to take away from the interview?
That we all had a good time, and we all that you took your brand or whatever, and your brand as well, and your brand, and we all came together, and we were able to have a good, constructive, conversation to try to help someone who out there who's listening, whether it's being consistent and persistent, or if that's, being professional. And then just what you're doing, I got to commend both of you guys, and along with you, what you guys are doing. I mean, when I first saw what you were doing, I was like, okay, I saw it. But then months later, I was like, oh, damn. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm behind. But, I mean, I commend that, because, you're an example to, persistent and consistent.
Yes.
And when you're persistent and consistent, there's nothing that you cannot, the sky's the limit. And, for both of you guys, along with yourself, the sky's the limit. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. So that's what I take away from it.
I greatly appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And for the record, can you state that Ray is your favorite sportscaster? And no, I'm joking. No, Law Nation all day. Give us
Law,
my brother Law.
Yeah, remember.
Law, I'm sorry, man, but Ray was the one.
Okay.
Ray was the one who reached out to me, so Ray is my sponsor.
Bipartisan, brother.
Nah, that's my dog. Don't get no twisted out there. That's my brother. No, don't y'all ever get this shit twisted, all right?
No, both of you guys are amazing. I really appreciate you guys letting me have this platform to, chop it up with you.
And you have an open invite.
Yeah, and you guys have an open invite too. I would like to even do some segments with you guys.
Let's get him on Crosstalk.
Get him on Crosstalk.
Let's get him on Crosstalk.
And let us be on what days you on Spectrum?
So Wednesday and Thursday.
Wednesdays and Thursday.
Yeah,
Law Nation and Ray.
Yeah.
They're going to throw in a segment.
Yeah.
You see,
I don't want no cornbread.
You see where he put Law Nation and Ray.
Yeah. In them. We'll put the NIMs in
I'm
there.
David Ruffin. And these are the Temptations. Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
Ain't nobody come to see you,
Otis.
Right? Ain't nobody come to see you, right?
All right. Yeah. Hey, so I always start again. Also, thank you, Jazz.
We just left her up out of here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sexist, man. We sexist over here.
Sorry. Again, you know what I'm saying? I like to always start off my show with positive words.
Right.
I'm going to end them with positive words, all right? So I want everybody to get their swag on right now. Rub your hands together like a Birdman, all right?
Yeah.
Tell yourself, I will boss up spiritually. Mm-hmm. I will boss up mentally. I will boss up physically. And I will boss up financially. Invest in yourself. It's your boy Ray. Ray Ray's podcast. See you on the flip side, baby.
Hey, get money all day, get money all night. Hey, get money all day, get money all night. Sip my